Hey, so I'm working on this rope railing for a tree house, and I saw this other video, which is linked below. Really liked the pattern, but with the time lapse, I couldn't understand how it worked. And so spent some time with my kids doing some mock-ups to kind of understand the pattern, and thought I would give a little more of a detailed look on how to do it. I'm also using 3/4 inch manila rope. I taped it with like painter's tape and cut it with a grinder down the middle of that tape, which kept the end together really well. And then just put some electrical tape because I like the black look better. My holes are 7/8 inch. You can see I kind of chalk lined the middle of the board, and I drilled those with a 7/8 inch spade bit, just to give me a little bit of room to slide through okay. And a quick note on how much rope per section. So my holes are 32 inches apart, so I just rounded up to 36 inches to account for some of the twists and going around the board. And then I counted my number of holes. So I've got 15 holes on the top here, 15 on the bottom, so 30. And I'm taking that 30 times 3 feet, so 90. So I cut 90 feet of rope, maybe 95 for this. Again, the thought is if you're starting here, going up, that's 3 feet, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so on. And so that's how I've been measuring the rope. Okay, so here's how I'm starting the rope. I'm actually putting the center point about halfway here. Last time I started it up here and I had to work that much through the end. So put your center point between the two boards, and you're always gonna go through the front of the board, top board, and you're gonna come in from the back of the bottom board. So you can see here, coming in from the back on the first hole, going in through the front on the top hole. And then I'm gonna take this rope behind this one and then down to the second hole. So my goal, and what I picked up from watching that other video a little slower, is that it's always good to get 2 ropes to the bottom, work this one through, then switch to the next one, and alternate that pattern down. So again, what I have is my rope coming through the board this way, so back to front, and then it's going up and it's going through the front of this board to the back, and then looping around that rope and coming down to the second hole. So what I'm going to do now with this first rope is go behind this rope and come up and go through the front of this board behind itself to the third hole. Gloves are very handy for this. Again, I've got my center point here. That rope is coming through the front hole, so I've got half of my rope here, and then I took this through the front of hole 1, around itself, back down to hole 2. So now I'm going to take rope number 1 behind this one. I'll show you this later when I have less rope. I'm going to go behind 1 into hole 2 through the front. And then I'm going to come left over the top from the back to the front while keeping pressure on the rope up here. Okay, now I'm going to put pressure on that, hold it, switch over to this rope. Again, I'm going to go behind itself here, but in front of this rope that I just came down with. Hold it tight. Now that's going to go into hole 3 on the top, through the front. Now I'm going to go behind, over the top of it, and then go down to hole 4. Forward front. Okay, so now hole 3, behind itself, but in front of the other rope. Hole 4 at the top, through the front, and down to hole 5. Okay, I'll finish up again. As I was saying, if you put the center point up here, you're going to have that much less rope on this bottom when you end. So you can see I've got a pretty good amount here to tie off with, about 2 feet. Got about a foot or so, 1.5 feet on the bottom. So not too much overage, and that railing is done. On to the rest of them.